What up, guys? It's your boy Javi here. So I've been getting people on all my platforms asking me what are my settings, what are my settings, and I feel like it's finally time to reveal those settings. There's nothing special, but what it really comes down to is just preference. And I'll like hit that a lot. I'll be like, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do this type shit. But so we'll start with game. So for universal, the view, we have it at 110. A lot of people they like it around like 100. I wouldn't go much lower than 100 though, because as you see like the chart here, like 90, you're already cutting off a lot of your field of view. But yeah, I go 110 because I mean, once you aim down sight, you're at like 70 FOV anyway, which is like if you look at the chart again, like around here, so it cuts off a lot of your view. And if you really need to see somebody, just aim down your sight. But we go down to default 0. That's pretty much default. Nothing there really changed. Head shake, I would put that on low, just so whenever you're running, your screen's not moving so much. The extraction point indicator, like the smoke, I have that off. Again, that's preference. You can have it on, you can have it on. It's just really there to notify you that the extraction is there, if it's active or if it's not active. And then auto inspect valuables. Oh, this is for like whenever you get like reds. I have mine on off just because if I do go and loot a safe and there's people nearby, when I get out the safe, I don't start inspecting my gun or inspecting the red. But again, that's totally up to you. You do still have the option to go into your inventory and inspect the red. So I mean, there's really no loss there if you turn it on or off. The border brightness settings, I have those at high, just so I can see like items on a table if I somehow almost miss it or something. Well, once you're like pretty skilled at the game, you can turn it off. But again, it's all preference. Firing blur, I have that off. Don't really like that on. All this stuff's pretty much off. This was something good that they added. I don't know if they added it recently or what, but the sharpen when sedated. This is for whenever you're taking PKs. I have this on off because whenever it's on, it makes your screen kind of grainy looking, and I didn't like that. Focal point, that's just like the crosshair. You don't see it because it's built into my monitor, but there's a red dot in the middle, so I just have focal point off. A lot of people do like it on though. So when you get into game, it shows a white dot in the middle of your screen, which is pretty cool. But hit effect, I have that on blue. Nothing crazy. It's preference. Under system, we have quick store. I didn't really know what that is. I haven't really messed with that. But this one prioritize valuable items in the case. This one's really good. So like if you have an open slot in your case, I usually store my meds in here and my ammo. I think that's pretty common, pretty basic stuff. But whenever you come into here, so like you can set the threshold of like certain items. Let's just go to the market real quick. So we'll go to miscellaneous. Let's just do medical items. So like let's just say you have a free a 2x2 slot. This will go straight into your titanium case or whatever case you have. Obviously, if you don't have the titanium case, it's not going to fit in there. There's composite one. I mean, it'll fit in there. Just it honestly depends on what you have. that I mean definitely not gonna fit in that one. But yeah, there is a threshold you can change for your settings, like for the item that goes straight to your case. But moving on from that, auto rotate, I have that on. So like whenever I go to throw, let's just say throw a backpack on real quick. If I have this to throw in my backpack, sometimes you see how instead of having to rotate it, it rotates it for me. That's just that's pretty much what that setting does. I think that's on by default. And then 3D character, that's an in-game right thing. Pretty cool stuff. And then right here, so I'm going to say again, so HUD stuff, this is all like up to you, up preference. Doesn't boost FPS, doesn't make your gameplay any better by any means. But yeah, that's my settings for those. Under image, I have a 1440p monitor. So obviously I have screen resolution to that. Aspect ratio, same thing. Do my settings there. And then for my settings for NVIDIA, um, they're just default. I didn't mess with those. But then we're going down to detailed settings. Pretty much everything's on basic besides resolution and scope. And then sound, I have massive volume at 100. I do have IEMs, so everything sounds a lot um more. It sounds more deeper, and I can hear it better. It's like earbuds. I do recommend you getting earbuds if you um want. I feel like once I switched to earbuds, I had a bigger advantage versus wearing a headset. I guess it depends on the headset that you have. I had the A50s and I really couldn't hear people. And then I chose uh some IEMs off, I don't know where. I think it was a pro website or something. And they were not expensive, but they were good IEMs. If you're interested, I can drop the link below for you guys if you want. But back into the audio settings, we have UI. I have that at 5. So that's just whenever you like you hear that, like whenever you're clicking on stuff. And then sound effects, you want that 100 because it's like foot system stuff like that. Background noise 0. Character voices, I have that at 18. You just that one's preference. It's just I don't like hearing people's voice whenever they're spamming. We got a Timmy. And then spatial, it's just like making the game more crisp for your audio. So that's that. Mic input. This is all preference stuff, so I'm not gonna talk about that. But moving on to graphics. So this is where it changes a little bit. I have my graphic style customized. So my brightness, it's at 1.5. Saturation at 2. I think that's default. Contrast, I have it at 0.7. I think that was changed. And then sharpness at 6. And then again, I don't want you to go ahead and copy my settings just because you see me do my plays and stuff like that. Um, Messing with my settings, it took a while. I'm not gonna say it took a long time, but it took a while. And then I just the shots started to hit and whatever. But this is my mouse sense for whenever I'm just like not aiming down at 0.45. I do play on a 900 DPI. My aim sensitivity were at 0.37, and then these are my scope. So it changes a little bit. And the stuff that I didn't change is like obviously scopes I don't use. But yeah, I do recommend you like just going to the firing range and just messing with all the scopes, seeing what feels good for you. A free look, I have that at 1. I think that's default. So whenever you're free looking, your sense, you have a sense for that as well. A quick throw, that I would put that on. That's whenever you're like, or you don't have to have it on, but whenever you already have a nade equipped, like the nade that you want, you can just press that keybind and it throws it, like pressing the keybind, which is pretty cool. And then close backpack when hit. I have that off just in case I'm like armor swapping or something. Switch weapons after throwing. Not sure what that means. I have it on though, I guess. So these are my keybind settings. So I do have a mouse with 12 buttons on the side. It's very unorthodox for the usual gamer, but I mean, those are the keybinds. And I do want to add for like quick keys, I don't have those activated because all these quick keys, they're all under the keybind number 8. And for me, I just don't, I don't find it annoying to have a wheel to click. It is annoying, but I mean, I have to deal with it because I don't really like reaching across my keyboard and stuff like that. I don't know, it just feels weird, uncomfortable. Like all my keybinds are literally on my right hand. But yeah, those are the settings. So if you did enjoy the video, just drop a like, drop a comment, support the channel a little bit. And yeah, some more banger videos to come.